Okay, I think I'm live. I'm just gonna cue this up on my own end. Happy Monday, everybody. This is our first Monday. Is it my first Monday? No, it's the first Monday in a while that hasn't been a holiday, which is, I think, fantastic. I love Mondays. I am just making sure to see if I have this coming in. I don't. All right, bear with me, kitty cats. I don't know why I just called you kitty cats. You're not my children. I don't own kitty cats, but I do have two little kitty cats that are humans. Bear with me, people. Thank you for bearing with me. It's Possibility TV Live. This is our weekly show on Mondays where, I jump on Facebook Live and tell you everything I know to create your best possibility. All right, here I am. All right, cool. And somebody's watching, which is awesome. I'm going to just cue this up, make sure I'm on mute, not hearing myself. Feedback, awesome. If you're here, give me a shout. Let me know what you think. How are you? All right, so let's talk about a really important subject matter, prioritizing possibility. And what do I mean by that? I mean, making room for your dreams and your greatest possibility, even when it feels really difficult. And a common topic that I want to address is when you feel like people in your life don't support you in, going after your dreams. The truth of the matter is that, one of the only person's approval that you need. Thank you for the like. I think that's Shannon. Hello, little girl, little kitty cat, thank you. But one of the only person's approval or permission or anything in your life that you need is yourself. And it can be difficult because we are a social species. We are connected. We are, we do live in small communities, maybe sometimes of like two, right? And how do you do that? How do you prioritize your possibility when sometimes, I'm going to talk about it in a couple different ways. The first way is that sometimes you don't even know clearly what you're doing, right? What am I even doing? You don't have the clarity that you need to actually prioritize because you don't know what to do. So what do you do in that situation? It can be easy to let life's list of things to do take over. And I know for myself, that can be something that's, easy for me I've done that in the past. I've just, there's so much to do. So it's like, okay, well, let me just plow through and get done whatever I can do. And then that sort of ambiguous, Morpheus, maybe right now it's much clearer than it has been in the past, but unless you have that clarity, right, that sort of vision, that possibility is kind of left, it's kicked to the curb. It sort of just kind of acquires dust. So you really have to build in time for yourself to create that possibility. And that starts with getting clear. Now, one of the problems that not everybody, but that a lot of people have is that people feel like others don't value that. Others don't think it's important. Others don't support you in that. And I'm not just talking about, random people that don't really matter to you, but I'm talking about your partner, family members, people who are very important and people who, you have created a life with. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit in this video because it's such a common issue. What do you do when your partner doesn't support you in your business or creating your goals or achieving your dreams and all the rest? And it's such a common problem. So, many times, this is true too. If you are a coach or somebody who works with people and you want to, help them and they call you and they say, I just have to check with my partner first. We're going to talk about that today and what that means. So I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of the person who has the partner's approval to receive or to get or to, go after. And I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of the service-based entrepreneur, creative entrepreneur, somebody who, is hearing, oh, I need to talk to my partner. Okay. So how do we start? So let's say you are that person that feels like, oh, Beth, thank you. Thank you. Let's say you are that person who feels like you need to get your partner's support. This is a really common issue. Maybe you want to make a big investment. Maybe you want to, do something, quit your job and just, become this other kind of entrepreneur of some kind, and your partner's like, no way, like, or you want to hire some fancy coach and it's a lot of money and your partner's like, no way. I want your job is to get really, really clear yourself on whether this is a good decision for you or not. Okay? I'm sure, well, I'm going to back up. You have to get really, really clear yourself. And when you bring this up with your partner, if this is something that you know that you need, and I'm not saying you definitely need it, right? Because sometimes, your partners, if you do have a partner who's kind of grounded in practicality, they may have a better, I don't know if better is the word, but maybe they're seeing something that you're not. And what's most often the case is what they may be seeing is the fact that you don't necessarily believe in this decision yourself. Because why would you be asking them for permission or for their approval or for how they think about it? And look, I also believe that it's important to, have open communication and not keep secrets and that kind of thing. But it's all about the energy, right? And so if you're coming to your partner from a place of, ooh, do you think I should do this? I kind of really want to. How do you feel? Your partner's probably gonna be like, no, not because they don't support you, not because they don't believe in your business or your dreams or whatever, but because they're reflecting that part of you that doesn't necessarily believe. Tara says, hi, Geneva. I was writing a post in our group. Awesome. I can't wait to read it. You are awesome. And so it's important to really get clear yourself on if this is a priority for you or not. And the problem with possibility is that it can be elusive. It can be, not something that is like A, B, C, D. Like I went to college, I went to graduate school, I became like that's A, B, C, D, right? But if you want to do something that's outside of, maybe that hasn't been done before, or that's maybe a bit more of a risk, or that's, you don't necessarily see the clear path, it's really important for you to get clear on what you would like to, what is that possibility, right? Go crazy with your dreams, reverse engineer that thing, and then you'll be able to be a little bit more clear yourself. And so what that might mean for you is, even I know I'm kind of all over the place with this now, but in terms of not letting that clarity throw you into just doing anything but looking at it. Tara says, yeah, that's so true. And our partners want to protect us too. Absolutely, don't they? 100%. So if you are not coming to this from a place of, this is what I really, really firmly believe in and know is good for me, and your partner's like not supporting you, then that's probably because, oh, thank you for all the hearts. I love seeing them flip by. I feel like I'm, Tony Robbins. Because actually, I've never seen a Tony Robbins live. I did see a Dalai Lama live once, which was really cool. And it was just like so many hearts floating by. So anyway, thank you for that. But yeah, our partners are like can be like a clown size mirror of what's happening within us. So get clear on what you really, you're not going to find that answer from anybody else but yourself. Certainly, I'm all about, mutual support. Thank you for the hearts. You must have heard my Dalai Lama comment. I'm all about mutual support and, creating things together and all the rest. But it's really important to be firm and grounded in your own place. And I'm saying this, hey, Jen, how are you? I've been thinking about you. I have questions for you, lady. I'm not going to ask them here, though. So this has been coming up a lot in the last week, even with couples and individuals that I've been working with, where it's like, and in myself too, I do this sometimes too, nothing to do with my partner, but just like in creating the possibility that I want, really making it a priority and really putting it front and center and putting it on the table, even if it's not like I need to have, like if it's like, okay, I have to do this, this, and this, it's easy to kind of get those things done. But when it is unclear, you have to be a lot more rigid with yourself about getting to that point of clarity and just getting it done, right? And Jen says, good, night one went okay, but we'll update you via email. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm looking forward to hearing more too. Thank you for sharing that. And so that's about, your decision making. I'm kind of going back and forth with prioritizing your own possibility, even if it feels a bit murky. I think so few people even look into that murky space because it's the unknown, it's uncertain, it's, there's no guaranteed results, right? Like you could be wasting your time, your energy, right? But I can assure you that unless you're doing that, you're wasting your time and energy in a directionless place, if that makes any sense. Um, so so when it comes to really being clear about what it is that you believe in, right? To really believe in yourself, as Tara pointed out, our partners can protect us because they want what's best for us. And if any part of you is not firmly like, this is what I'm doing, I'm going to figure this out. I mean, many of us are lucky to have partners who believe in us no matter what, right? But that, I believe, is also a reflection of ourselves too, right? Okay, so what's been coming up a lot lately? Now, as many of you know, I work with a lot of couples. And I can promise you that one of the downfalls of any relationship is when, thank you for the likes, thank you, is when one partner does not um, have something or things of their own that are important to them. And, I don't talk about this a lot because I like to stay away from the whole codependency conversation because even though it's an issue and even though it's a problem, the way that we collectively have come to understand codependency, I think, is a little bit flawed. It's become this demonized thing that sort of doesn't necessarily understand. Thank you for all the hearts. I'm just loving this, you guys. You guys are the best. I'm so codependent with you that I need your hearts to keep going. No, I'm just kidding. But, as one of my mentors, Dr. Sue Johnson, says, and I've shared this before, so I apologize if I don't apologize for anything. There's no such thing as codependency. There's only effective or ineffective dependency. We are wired to connect. We are all kind of connected. Now, of course, there is a way to be codependent, meaning ineffective dependency, when we lose ourselves for someone else. And maybe those, you can lose your possibility by just, when you're not necessarily getting what you need in your relationship, that's all you're after, that's all you want. And that can become a vicious circle as well, if that makes any sense, because then you're never going to be able to get what you need if you're just constantly like looking for that, right? And Tara says, I love this topic, and I think you're talking about interdependency and connectedness, and you are such an expert on that, Tara, and just how, we do have a responsibility toward each other, right? So that's why I don't always talk about how absolutely important it is to have your own needs and interests and passions to kind of like, to develop and to do that. But a lot of the times it may feel scandalous to actually put those front and center. I shared last week with my email list, which, that I went skiing for the first time in a long time. And that felt a little scandalous, right? And it's almost like I have this relationship with my business that I love so much. This isn't even about my relationship with my partner, although certainly it helped that too, because it was something we did together. But it's like I've got this relationship with my business and with my kids and with just life. You can get locked into a routine easily and forget to put the possibility, the passion, the things that you truly love as well front and center. It actually felt super scandalous of me because here I am, just in terms of like financially, and I should be working, and the kids are whatever, all of this stuff, to actually put it all on hold and just take off. It didn't help that when we got to the mountain, this is maybe more than I need to share and has nothing to do with, but it didn't help that when I got to the mountain, I had no cell phone reception, and I was like, oh my God, like what if something happens to my kids? We got reception eventually, but thank you for the likes. But the point is that in any relationship, whether it's with your partner or your business, or anybody else, you've got to like really put the possibility front and center and make room for it. And so, and Tara says, yes, and the issues that arise in our own and the issues that arise in our relationship when we don't have our own passions and interests. Yes, it can be a real problem. So sometimes, so it can feel scandalous maybe. Jen says having interests in doing them is actually self-care. That's how I see it. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's self-care. It's good for your business. It's good for everything. It's good for your energy. It's absolutely vital. But a lot of the times people don't realize that because, look, people are busy, right? We've got so many responsibilities because, like I said, I do believe in responsibility as well, which is important, that it can be it can be a stretch to maybe put something that may not feel very practical, that may not seem like it makes sense, to put that front and center. And it's our obligation, being entrepreneurs, being partners, being, I believe, people alive in the world, to do that. And so when, so anyway, so what can you feel? I know I'm all over the place, but I'm just sort of speaking off the top of my head. So when you do start putting that front and center, maybe for a lot of the times people have this sort of realization at some point in their lives. A lot of women, but men do this too. It's not just a gender thing. A lot of times people realize, like, oh wait, I'm just like kind of like going through the moves, or I'm going through the motions in my life, and there's something more that I would like to create or have. And then it's like, okay, well, I just got to actually, there is a degree of putting the work in and the time in and the effort in and the commitment in, and like, the more you can, thank you, whoever's loving me and giving me likes, I appreciate it so much. But the more you can get really clear on what that is and put it in a schedule and automate it, so that it does become this thing that's just a emotion that you kind of continue to move through and just do. Like this is an example. Like, all right, I have to go on to Facebook Live at 12:30 on Mondays. That's something I committed to at the end of last year, and it's something I'm doing, and that's it. And it's whatever. It's what's it doing? It's fun to ramble. It's fun to connect with you guys who are watching. If anybody's seeing the replay, if I bring any ounce of quality or value, then fantastic. That makes me very happy. But you do have to, then start to actually put the work in. And a lot of times that's when people realize, oh, people around me aren't reacting well, right? You actually have to make yourself a priority. And for somebody who may not naturally do that, maybe your life is about always taking care of other people, there comes a time when it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's not serving anybody. That's when, people have big wake up calls, like health scares. And, this is when marriages start to crumble as well. And it's like, you don't need to get to that place where you're having a giant wake up call to wake up and to, really ask yourself, okay, what is possible for me? And am I really interested in creating that? Am I okay with where things are? Or do I want to just continue to grow and expand and have more? And that may rock the boat, right, with other people in your life. And so a lot of times I might see people recommending that you just, like, ditch the people that don't support you and that kind of thing. But I think it's a lot more complicated than that, because that's coming from a place of not necessarily looking within, in terms of how you may not be supporting yourself. So I'm going to also speak to, I know I'm rambling. I'm also going to speak to if you are a service-based or creative or whatever, you're some kind of person in business for yourself, and you hear a client or a potential client say to you, well, I need to check it with my partner. I always respect that. I think that's, especially, I mean, I actually, if I'm working with a couple, I'll talk to both of them sometimes, but most often one of them just book in. But I'm talking about not so much about couples therapy at all. I'm talking about like coaching or, doing some kind of service for them. Thank you for the loves. I love them. What do you do when, somebody at the other line says, well, I have to check with my partner, after you've had this long-winded conversation with them about how you might be able to help them, and they seem like they'd like to do that? Well, I would recommend, going a little bit deeper. Now, doing this kind of work, coaching, let's see, I'm excited to see what Jen says. She just left a nice long comment. I'm going to get back to this. Let's see what Jen said. I do see resentment build when someone does think their partner is holding them back from their interests. My love spent yesterday watching football with friends, and he told me that I was the only partner in the group who blessed it and how lucky he is. Heck, I enjoyed having the entire day to myself. Oh, Jen, I love you. But I guess some wives aren't cool with that. Football is almost over. Enjoy the time left. It's true. I think that is awesome, Jen. And, it says a lot, why would you hold your partner back from doing something that they love? Like, that's just like a recipe for disaster, right? And, clearly you must feel, you guys have, that's, there's often more that goes on behind that, right? And if I feel like, like, for me, like I really wanted to go to the gym yesterday, and it was like, okay, can I go to the gym? Like, because it does require, like when you have, it requires work to like have to deal with like the people left behind, the little kids and all the rest. And but we have to, it would almost have been more I didn't really, here's the deal. Yesterday I didn't really feel like going to the gym, but I also didn't feel that great, and I felt like I needed to go to the gym so I could feel better. And it would have been so easy for me, because like nobody really wants, like my husband doesn't want me to leave, my kids don't want me to leave, but I knew I had to do that for myself, and I didn't really want to go. But you have to take a stand for what's best for yourself. And Jen says, of course, you have to arrange logistics. Yes. But I love that, Jen, I just love that you sent him off with a blessing. And and it's just like, who wants to be that naggy spouse that's like, no, don't. Like, you're not that person, right? But apparently he's got a lot of friends who have them. But I think with doing something that is necessary for you to feel better and to be better, and whether it's, doing the kind of like, going to the gym, for example, if you don't really feel like it, but it's how you feel good, or doing the kind of work like writing a blog post or something that you're just really not feeling like doing, and dealing with somebody else on top of that who is like, no, don't do it. It does require, I think it's, Jen says, yeah, please go. Do I want to hear football all day? Nope. It does require, it's almost like it's a gift, because it requires you to even get more like clear about what you're doing. So, okay, so back to this scenario where somebody's calling up a coach. You are the coach or the service-based professional, and the person's like, well, I need to talk to my partner. Having, it's funny because I once worked with somebody who had some issues with her husband, as many of my clients do or have, and we really got down and dirty about how to really talk about the difficult things. And as a result, she became like so much better at sales, right? And by sales, I mean, signing on people who needed her help. I don't mean like snake oil sales. I mean, having the intimate kind of conversation that you need to have with somebody if you're going to do kind of like life-changing work with them. So, so you might have, so this requires for you to have maybe more of a difficult, or not difficult, but a deeper conversation with your prospect. Now, obviously it depends on the kind of work you're doing, but if you're doing coaching, and you really feel, and this is actually true for any kind of, service-based professional, somebody has to check with their partner, and you can ask them, what do you think your partner might have concerns about? How, if your partner wasn't a variable, right? If your partner wasn't in the picture, because so few people are actually used to thinking for themselves, right? Jen says, yes, the permission thing. Sometimes it is not sincere, but just procrastinating making your own decision. 100%. Right. And so few people, and maybe the person you're talking to on the other end, isn't actually thinking like, what do I want for myself? So your conversation with them is an opportunity to really explore that. Put the husband on the table. It's like, you can blame it on the money. You can blame it on your partner. You can blame it on a lot of things, the time commitment, right? And so it can be helpful to just like literally, really to get clear on what's right for this person, put all that stuff on the table, right? If your partner wasn't a variable, if you were on your own, is this something that you would do, and why, right? And I'm not saying this in a way to convince them to sign up with you or anything like that, but to get clear, like, is this something that this person wants to do? How do you think this would, here's how I see that this could benefit you, and are you on board with that? Do you believe in that, right? So being able to have that conversation instead of just being like, oh, okay, go talk to your partner. Because look, I'm all about having a conversation with your partner about a big decision. But whenever you want to make a big decision, or even a small decision, whether it's about going to the gym or about taking time out from your day to, write your, whatever you need to write or whatever it is, you got to be grounded and clear yourself before you put that out there to them. Get clear, and this is true for everybody, with anything, is so many, this is why so many couples, so many well-meaning couples who love each other so much run into problems, is because they're trying to think about the other person before they even have a sense of what's going on for themselves. That's called ineffective dependency, aka codependency, right? That's where so many people get into trouble. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys for being here. Oh, I got another one. I have to jump off, but thank you, Genevieve. Tara, you are the best. Thank you for being here. Jen says, I get that sometimes at work. Let me show my husband this lipstick. They don't care. They have no clue about it. Wear what you want. It's true, right? It's like your husband cares if you're wearing like hot pink or red lipstick or any at all. Do they even notice? Probably not. But right. I love that, Jen. So, anyway, folks, I really appreciate you guys for being here. I hope that you gleaned any bit of anything from this. If you did, if there's anything that you did take away from this, right? Please let me know. I'm happy to talk more about this subject, especially. Hold on, I got a comment. I'm worried for them sometimes. Yeah, no kidding, right? I know, Jen. And you can tell them though, right? You're like, hey, you know what? Like, this is for you, honey, right? um, so glad to catch you and Tara too. It was valuable. Thank you. You're the best, Jen. I appreciate you. Appreciate you all. But yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to talk more about this, I'm here. Oh, one more thing, really important that I meant to share. I'm doing a free training on Thursday. And man, I am putting this thing is like, this is a doozy. I'm going to be sharing so much information. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to be sharing so much. I really am. I'm like, it's probably one of those trainings that's longer than it should be. That's not taught from a good place because it's just too much information. But I'm going to be sharing this thing, and I'm going to be recording it, so you'll have it as a resource. I'm learning a lot, or just collating a lot of really good material about improving your relationship with wealth, getting intimate with wealth. Now, this is something that we all need to be able to do, I think, to live our most possible lives, right? And I'm coming at it from a bunch of different angles. So not just from the mindset. You are so generous. Oh, you are so generous, Jen. I think you're awesome. I'm not coming at it just from the mindset angle, although that's important. I'm coming at also from like a spiritual angle, which is a very important, and from a emotional angle, which is super important. But also from a really materialistic kind of like, here's the deal, like kind of angle, which I think is many of us who are kind of more interested in ideas and things like that might not be so good at dealing with. So I've learned about this recently, and I'm really like so much more on top of my things than ever financially because of a lot of what I'll be sharing with you on Thursday. So I hope you join. I'm going to share the link in the comments. I don't even remember what it is. Oh, you know what? I can actually do that here. I'm going to post this in HTTP. It's like taking a long time to actually type. Here I am typing. I think this is a short link to it. What should I say? Get on my free training Thursday about getting intimate, honey, intimate with wealth. All right, so I posted that. I would love for anybody watching this to join, especially if you're a creative service-based entrepreneur. And I really want to thank you guys for being here. I will talk to you guys soon. Have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you guys again for being here. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you soon. And I always have to change the screen. It's always like, how do I end it? I have to change the screen. Okay, bye.